I started going deaf and blind, and it was because I had a sinus infection. Went and saw this infectious disease doctor who said, you need to get a PICC line installed immediately in your arm to your heart, get intravenous IV because the pills you're taking are not working and you're going to die. I was being killed by a sinus infection. I got a bad implant from a fake biological dentist.
Anthony, thank you so much for doing this. This was absolutely very serendipitous because you saw the clips of me and Del, you're friends with Del, and you wanted to know where I was in Texas. And I said, I'm in Austin. And you're like, I'm in Texas for this amount of time. And I was like, I will be back on this date. And if you want to get together and do this, you said, let's figure it out.
Yes.
We fucking figured it out.
That's it.
So
And it happened.
yeah, man, I appreciate this. So, before I get into cutting hair, I want to talk a little bit because I think what you're doing is really interesting. And I think your story is really unique too, because what I love is I love hearing about people accomplishing their goals and their dreams. It's one of the things I've been trying to instill with my kids. Like, you see it, you want it, go for it. And if it doesn't work out, do it again. You know, like, you can't give up. You know, it's a certain mental toughness. I think some people are born with it.
Yes.
I don't think you can teach it. I think you can be an example for people.
Yes.
And those examples of people getting their dreams, this is why sports stars, I think, are so inspirational, because they are the example for the masses. And what you did is, correct me if I'm wrong, because I'm trying to like piece it all together. You had this empire of real estate, this real estate empire up in New York. And at some point of your journey, you said, I want to shed a couple 100 pounds. And that led you to pursue something totally different that was not real estate related.
Yeah.
Pretty different from real estate. And you just didn't like do it as a hobby. You went in like both feet jumping in.
Yeah.
I think it's a really great example of like, you can change careers no matter how old you are.
Can reinvent yourself. Yeah. I mean, I've had many lives, you know, the real estate career was something I started when I was 19. And then it developed from being a salesperson to then being a broker, owning my own business at 21, my own shingle up, to then really looking at the landscape of what I had in front of me as far as mentors.
Yeah.
So I decided there's riches and niches. So when you get your real estate license, there's all sorts of different types of real estate you can practice.
Yeah.
Sales, development,
commercial.
Yeah. I decided to focus on rentals.
Okay.
So renting apartments allowed me to have more interaction with multifamily owners.
Okay.
When you're selling real estate, it's more like maybe it's a single family homeowner. It's not an investor. It's more of a family, a couple, very transitional. But developers and landlords, they're there to stay. And landlords love mentoring. And so if you owned a 10-unit building, I might see you 10 times a year renting each one of those apartments.
Okay.
So I'm shaking your hand. And so we have more of a rapport.
Okay.
I'm also providing more value to you. So I'm finding you a good tenant. That tenant I have to screen and qualify, make sure they pay the rent.
Yeah.
So you're entrusting me with being your eyes and ears for your income stream, your cash flow.
Yeah.
So, and so I was a young guy, and most people, if you show that you want to learn, will want to mentor you and teach you.
I agree.
So, and I had access, and I would ask them, who's your lawyer? How'd you get financing? Who's your insurance broker? And then I developed my own mentorship board. And then I started figuring out how I could provide more value to them. One way was really trying to get a maximum dollar per rent per unit.
Yeah.
Really focusing on quality tenants.
Yeah.
Really screening it as if I owned the building. So if you gave me a 1-bedroom apartment that you wanted me to rent for $1,800, and I brought you a tenant willing to pay $25, I'm a hero too. And so I would do that over and over and over again. And when people would see me, people meaning landlords, their eyes would light up. because I mean dollars to them. And that kind of reciprocity was different. And
Yeah.
I recognized quickly it's what you know, and who knows you.
Yeah, completely.
So yeah, that was the beginnings of me really learning about real estate, and then figuring out where I wanted to do real estate, how I wanted to do real estate. And one thing I quickly recognized is that I didn't want to be a broker. I said, I'll be darned if I'm have this much access to mentorship and I don't own real estate. I have to.
Yeah.
So I took all that knowledge and started acquiring
Your own thing.
my own things.
Yeah, I think that's, it's funny you said you started acting like you were the landlord or the owner of the properties for the apartments you were screening.
Yeah.
And it reminds me of so many successful hairdressers that I know. They said, how did you end up doing this? And I said, well, I just started working in the salon as if I owned it. And next thing you know, the people in the salon who were the patrons, the customers, they started thinking I was the salon owner and not the actual owner.
Correct.
And it was that sort of ownership of something that was outside of your responsibilities, but it wasn't like and I also wonder too, if like somebody said, hey, I need you to do this, would you have been as excited to do it versus the fact that like you discovered it and because you wanted to do it? The passion always pays off first before the paycheck.
Correct. Yes. It's a labor of love, but also it depends on how you look at the opportunities, right?
Yeah.
A good example would be boxing. You know, you can make a lot of money in the sport of boxing if you're willing to get your face bashed in.
Yeah,
right?
I'm not.
So everything has a cause and effect. And so
I'm not laughing at you.
yeah,
I'm always telling my wife, I'm like, there's a cost to everything in life.
that's right.
Like, hey, it's an easy gig. It doesn't pay as much. Hey, this pays a lot. There's a lot more stress.
Correct.
There's either more responsibility with more money and more opportunity.
Yes.
There's never you're never going to get that like low stress, low responsibility, high payoff.
Right.
That's not the way the equation is.
That's not the way life is built.
No.
It was for now.
Yeah. I would like it to be the other way around. First, but, here, I'm going to put a cape on you.
Yes.
And we're going to start cutting.
All right.
Cool. So you had this Biohack Yourself shirt. So you have a documentary called Biohack Yourself, and you're filming currently a documentary
Yes.
about dental,
Yes.
which we kind of connected on immediately.
Yeah.
Which I've been telling my wife, because that's the field of interest of work that she's in. I'm like, when people realize that the mouth is the most underused, least looked at part of biohacking,
Oh yeah.
especially if you can get children to start biohacking their dental awareness,
Correct.
you're going to end up with like, they're going to have VO2 levels of better than our current Olympians.
Right.
You're going to end up with much taller people. You're going to end up with much stronger people, better oxygen flow. Like
Yes.
it's a whole other thing. And that's why you're out here
Yeah.
in Texas. But explain to me the jump from high-end luxury real estate, sounds like. I'm going to say luxury because New York, everything's expensive.
Yeah.
You're going from like high-end real estate to in New York, right? Were you in Manhattan specifically?
I was in all the 5 boroughs.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
I had offices. So I had a very successful brokerage in Park Slope, Brooklyn.
Oh.
And then I franchised it into all over New York in all 5 boroughs. Then eventually I turned it into a national franchise company in multiple states. And then I sold it. But before that, I built a billboard company where I had 72 billboards. I built a real estate school, which helped license over 40,000 people getting into real estate.
Oh, yeah.
So I did many things. I lived many lives, but the brokerage business was the one that was very interesting because I had over 100 people tattoo my company logo on their bodies. That story went internationally viral.
Oh, that's wild.
Yeah. Jay Leno, all the reality shows were talking about it. I had real estate agents that were on commission getting the logo tattooed on themselves.
I'm going to have to look this up.
Yeah, you just look up Rapid Realty Tattoo.
And
it was literally viral for several months, all over, internationally viral. And, I built a culture. I built a culture of camaraderie. I built a culture of people, mainly minorities, being able to make a living doing real estate. And I gave young people a chance.
Yeah.
Because I owned the real estate school, I was giving away free licenses. So people, the barrier of entry to get into real estate cost you nothing. You can come to my school, get licensed, and then get a job, work for me.
Yeah. Well, the other thing too is if you remove the hurdles, what's the excuse for them not to follow through?
Exactly.
That's what I've always thought about. I'm like, if you take away all the hurdles,
Right.
all the barriers of entry,
Right.
and they still say no,
Yeah.
they're not for you.
Correct. So that was really fun. I built that business, and then I eventually exited the business. I had a successful exit, but I recognized that I had ballooned up to 315 pounds. That had always been obese my whole entire life. I had my moments where I lost weight in my teenage years and in my early 20s. But then once I became successful, it seems like for every $1 million, I was gaining 5 pounds. So it was just like, and then you build this confidence where I remember when I lost weight and I did the documentary, it was a big hit. I released it during the pandemic. All my friends were like, I never looked at you as fat. I carried it well, like a Tony Soprano.
Oh, yeah.
So people look past it, but I was unhealthy. I had sleep apnea. And it wasn't until my wife and my children really were in my life that they both advocated for me to kind of lose weight because they wanted me to live. And I was getting sleep apnea. My health was starting to decline. I tried every shortcut under the sun. I tried the gastric sleeve. I lost 50 pounds. I gained 70. Then I lost my muscle mass and I had sleep apnea. I was going to the hospital. I was heading downhill. In fact, I told my wife, leave me alone. I want to die fat and happy.
There is that phrase, fat and happy, right?
Yeah.
And I remember my friend was telling me about the diet he was doing. It's called like the David diet, which is inspired, or the Daniel diet, I believe, right?
Yeah.
The biblical diet.
That's right. Yeah.
And I was like, wow, this is very much like in line with every R&D or nutritionist,
Right.
personal trainer who's ever sat in my chair. I've always joked around like, I don't have the money to have all the services, but I have a service that provides to those people. So I was getting free advice about things a long time ago.
Yeah.
I remember when Mahalter came out with that study about the sugar. And so I asked my friend who's an RD, I asked my clients that were doctors, and they're like, we know sugar's horrible for you.
Yeah.
It probably is causing more harm to our bodies than we're ever realizing.
Right.
And you have to make a choice.
Sure.
So I know you said you wanted to grow more long, like George Clooney.
Mhm.
One of the things I'm thinking of, because I'm probably not going to be cutting your hair every 4 or 5 weeks, so I'm just going to let you know what I was thinking, is you have a pretty square through here. If you want to grow this part out and get this part longer, you're going to need to keep this squareness, right?
Got it.
And the nice thing is your head is actually pretty square to the sides. It gets a little wide here and it comes down here. That's good. But it comes up a little bit more round right through here. So you want to make sure that this part is staying longer up here. So we're going to focus a little bit more down through here. I don't want to give you a skin fade. I think the skin fade, it's not going to blend in as nicely here with the beard.
Right.
So if you're trying to go for more of that, I like to call it like your classic, handsome, distinguished cut, right? Because what's in style? Handsome and pretty. Like,
But now we go
that's
that
it.
style,
You're like, well, what is that? I'm like, it's handsome to that person, or it's pretty for that girl.
Right.
And
Yeah.
so let's go through it.
Beautiful. Yeah.
I mean, the documentary that you did about yourself where you lost all the weight, what was that called again?
That was called From Fat Lolli to Six Pack Lolli, the ultimate transformation story. And it showcased me losing 125 pounds in 9 months, going through loose skin surgery and winning a transformation championship.
Okay, loose skin surgery. I've seen these things online. And
Yeah.
And the reason I'm asking you, I've never met anyone who's gone through this.
Yeah.
So if I ever come across anyone who has personally experienced something I've only read about, I have to ask. I have to know. So then when I have that client who goes, I'm thinking about doing this, I can go, oh my God,
Yeah.
I have insight for you.
Yes.
I've met someone who's done this.
Yes.
What is the process like?
So
And this is my other thought, and this is why I'm asking.
Mhm.
I'm imagining you get the skin removed because it's a reminder of who you were, not where you're going.
Correct.
There's probably some confidence. There's probably like when you look in the mirror, you don't see an accomplishment. You're
Correct.
like, I'm not totally there. I know what the scale says. I know what my waistband. I know what my cardiac heart level is. But I see skin. How do you have scars?
Well,
do you have
actually
a
healed
scar?
up very well. You can't really tell.
I was always worrying because I
Yeah.
hear about this when women get their breast implants removed or the explant. They have these scars. I'm like, why is this just a battle of having scars on an explant?
Yeah.
When people are getting all this skin growth, I'm like, it's all skin. Wouldn't it be able to just like either everyone's getting scars or someone's not doing the surgery to hide the scarring?
So it's a couple of things. One is I interviewed 12 plastic surgeons before I decided on Dr. Douglas Steinbreck, a triple board certified plastic surgeon that only does men.
Okay.
He doesn't do women. And the beautiful thing about him only doing men is that he focuses on not leaving you with much scars, especially around your chest. So he took a different approach.
Okay.
He went from my underarm, pulled the skin there, moved my nipple. So no scarring.
Okay.
And then a lot has to do with nutrition, supplementation, staying away from the sun, drinking a lot of collagen, and the aftercare. And so if you rush it, like if you're laying in the beach and you're letting the sun beat down, or you're making extreme movement that's stretching your stitches out,
Yeah.
you know, you're literally cut in half.
Oh, yeah.
And then of course, if you're malnutritioning yourself in terms of after the surgery, you're not going to be able to have the nutrition and supplementation to heal properly. So that's when all the scarring takes place. So I actually did the Fat Lolli, the Six Pack Lolli documentary. That blew up because that played during the pandemic. There were two things being watched during the pandemic: Tiger King on Netflix and my documentary on Amazon.
Oh God, I remember the Tiger King thing because every hairdresser was like, "Can you believe this?" And he's in prison.
Yeah.
But he keeps making these appeals like on Instagram, like, "Come on, get me out." And I'm like, I would love to have one. One, he seems like a
character.
He's a character, but like, come on, cut that mullet. I
mean,
that would be as a hairdresser. I'd be like, I cut that. That'd be funny. But
then I did another documentary strictly about loose skin called Skin Deep, about a guy named Alex who we met while we were competing. He lost 300 pounds. He was 500 pounds, and he had 300 pounds of loose skin. So like 40 pounds of loose skin. And we did his surgery, and we showcased what it was like to have extreme loose skin. And really, his surgery came out without a hitch too, and he became a transformation champion of the world as well. So we really started discovering the community of people that resonate with documentaries. When people watch documentaries, much like when they're watching a podcast, they're learn and apply mode. So when my documentary was released, I started getting like 200 to 300 DMs a day from obese men that were successful.
Oh, wow.
So when you watch my documentary, I didn't hide any of my success. I talked about my real estate career. I showed off the Rolls Royces. I showed off my cars, my homes. I showed the fact that I hired a personal trainer and nutritionist to live with me.
Oh, wow.
These are things that you know, are not easy. So at the same time, you can't pay anybody to eat for you. You can't pay anybody to do the exercises.
You still have to do the work.
You had to do the work.
You can lead a horse to water, can't force him to drink.
So, so I got a lot of men, 6, 7, and 8 figure earners that were reaching out to me because I didn't try to be all things to all people. I wanted to speak to my community, CEOs, founders, C-suite executives, top performers that have it all, but really don't have their health.
And by the way, I don't understand why that culture aims to create that person.
Yeah.
What I mean by that is the culture of that business creates a lifestyle that is at odds with living.
Yeah, it really is.
Stress, no sleep. I mean, you want to talk about cortisol levels up the chart.
Yeah.
And you're not sleeping, so now your hormones are all dysregulated.
Yeah.
And then you wonder why people have all this imbalance of testosterone.
Sure.
And they're probably not eating a balanced meal. What are they doing? When they have a stressful day, they're not going to go and do a boxing session. They're not going to go do something like, I was with my wife, I go, she goes, well, I go, I need to go lift something heavy. You know, like that's how you burn off
of course.
aggression. How many of them are reaching for scotch?
That's what it is. You know, dinners in the restaurants, business meetings, you know, then you wear a suit that covers the love handles and things just go on and on and on. So, but the documentary really hit a home. To this date, it's about 13 men that have admittedly told me I stopped them from committing suicide. So I recognize the power of documentaries and really being genuine on camera and putting it all out there.
I have to back up. What got you to want to do the documentary? Because I think that right there is going to help me connect a lot more of the
Yeah.
dots, because
Well,
I've done a lot of things in my life and I've never thought about, you know what I want to do? I want to document this.
Uh,
I've never once said I want to document me going through something.
I knew that I would not complete the transformation if I didn't have accountability.
Okay. So this is like the ultimate accountability.
There's the ultimate accountability, and it was also a business because I was going to turn my transformation into a fitness coaching business, which I did.
Okay.
And if I gamified it in the love language that I understood, I knew I would stick to it because I'm the type of person that sticks to my business commitments.
You say, I do it.
I say it, I do it. I never want to ruin my personal resume with myself.
I say that. I tell, I go, you're in a competition of one.
That's
And I go, if you're doing it right, you're always losing.
right.
And people go, what do you mean? I go, if you are losing against you,
Right.
that means that who's going to sharpen your iron better than you?
Exactly.
It has to be you.
Yeah. So I ended up gamifying it. I was like, okay, now I'm in the business of losing weight,
Yeah.
looking great, competing.
Yeah.
Let me bring in the professional trades I need to support this development project, which is me. So once I realized that I was in the business of me getting healthy, I brought in all the support team I would as if I was building a real estate development. The electrician, the plumber, the architect, men guy.
What you're saying to me and how I hear this is that people don't fail people. Systems fail people.
Correct.
All businesses need a system. All endeavors need a system.
Yes.
Like you can have a hobby, but if you're not doing your hobby, but it's applied system, like you don't, like I don't do models, but I'm assuming you don't glue the whole thing together and then paint it.
Correct.
You probably have to paint, induce. Look, you've ever baked?
Yes.
There's a reason they tell you room temp eggs and milk and butter. There's a reason. You don't do it, it curdles.
Yeah.
You're like, well, there goes my fucking muffins, you know? Yeah. Okay. I just want to make sure like what you're saying is like connecting to like a lot of like things that I instinctually believe in. So that's why I'm just curious.
Indeed. Well, that was it. You know, we ended up accomplishing that goal. The documentary went on to win a bunch of awards. I went on to doing more documentaries in the health and wellness space. We did one about my wife.
Yeah.
Because my wife was the real motivation behind me losing weight. My wife, my children, my mom, my in-laws. It was a whole family support. And then my wife, our roles were reversed. Now I was the arm candy, and we have this joke, and I'm like a Beauty and the Beast. And I said, honey, nobody calls you Beast. So then, you know, we ended up getting her in shape, and she wasn't obese by any stretch of the imagination. But for women, if you're 10, 20 pounds overweight, it feels like 200 pounds. It looks like 200 pounds.
It's also, it's a complete double standard.
Right.
Like you can have gray hair. They can't have gray hair. You get wrinkles, you're now distinct.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Look.
Yeah.
Ooh, look at that fine old scotch and that old bottle of wine,
Yeah.
right? But like, you know,
Women.
men, was it men are like scotch or women are like milk?
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
It's like one's going to sour faster than the other. And I don't believe that should be the case.
No, but
it's an unfortunate societal norm.
Yeah. So she basically took my direction. I became her personal trainer and mentor, and we did a docu-series where her and I competed as a couple 32 times around the world in multiple federations. And my wife, with our 2 children, still breastfeeding, became a 2-time bikini world pro in 2 different federations. And I became a muscle model pro. And that actually bonded us. It made us closer together.
Yeah.
And it, you know, we recognized how good we were in front of the camera and behind the camera as producers, directors, and documentarians documenting our life journey. And then from there, we were asked to create other documentaries. We did one by a very famous nutritionist and bodybuilding coach named George Farah. He's called the Pro Maker. He coached The Rock. He coached 32 Mr. Olympia and Arnold Classic champions.
Oh, wow.
He got cancer. He got shot, and he beat it all through nutrition. And he asked us to do his personal documentary about his life. He said, no one tells a story better than you guys. I would be my honor if you can tell my story and do my documentary. So we did it. It was called The Guru. That won like 20 something awards. And we had people in tears. We got a chance to meet amazing bodybuilders And when we were talking to the bodybuilders, my wife and I were still in that bodybuilding mode because we had just finished doing our docuseries,
Yeah.
lifting heavy weights, and but my wife's hormone went out of whack from getting so thin for competing.
Oh yeah.
She started getting premenopause.
Yeah. Cause
She started losing her hair
Yeah. Cause if you get under certain body fat with women, the cycles will change.
and
cycle
lost
won't
her
happen.
menstrual
Yeah.
everything.
Yeah. No, it's wild. My buddy who was an RD, his wife competed on that level.
Yep. Yep.
And she was explaining all
Yeah.
of this to me when I would be cutting her hair. And I was like, I'm hearing all this. I'm like, why the fuck do you want to do this?
Yeah,
It's like
yeah.
the recovery of your body is
You're only
way
supposed to
worse.
do it once, maybe twice a year. We did it 32 times.
That's a lot.
That was a lot. So it was a lot of stress, and her hormones were disrupted. And when we were interviewing all these bodybuilders for the documentary, we really started building great relationships and rapport and intimate relationships with these bodybuilders on and off camera. We recognized that they all are now biohacking. They're doing something for recovering. They're doing something to right their wrongs. Maybe all that food and all that, and some of them obviously were on PEDs and, some of the heavy stuff. And all the dieting and training and heavy lifting was not necessarily the best thing in the world for longevity.
Oh, I mean, the thing I remember hearing about is that when the cameras would come on with Arnold and his friends, they'd pick up the heavy weights.
Right.
But the reality is they were only like bicep curling 15, 20
Right.
pounds.
Correct.
And if they really wanted to stress it, they'd push it to like 25.
Exactly. Yeah.
But they were doing like 5 or 6 sets of like 20 or 25,
Right.
which if you're listening and you've never done that, do 5 reps of 15 or 20 pounds bicep curls.
Yeah.
And do a set of like what, 15, 20?
Yeah.
And don't just do it quick. Do
Yeah.
it like count, like
Right.
1, 2, 3, hold, squeeze, and then release. That third set at that much lighter weight, like you're in pain.
Yeah.
It's really hard to get to
Yeah.
set 5.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, I've done barbell curls where like each arm was like 35, 45, 50, hammer curls at 80 pounds. I've done that. And then my elbow hurts and then I get tennis elbow, right?
Yeah.
And that's why I'm like, I can't do this. And my buddy's like, you remember this thing? I go, no, I never cared about Arnold and his bodybuilding. I only
Yeah.
cared about him as the Terminator. And when I learned that, dude, the recovery is way easier.
Yeah.
Way easier.
Yeah. So from there, we started recognizing that, well, my daughter had a golf ball sized lymph node on her neck. All of a sudden started getting bigger and bigger and bigger. And then my son had mold toxicity. We didn't know that. He was being misdiagnosed like 9 times. Some people said he was on the spectrum. Some people said it was this, it was that. Turns out he had the MTHFR gene mutation.
And there's several mutations of the MTHFR, which, if you've never heard this, Gary Brecka has built an
Yes.
amazing career about
Yes.
which I've always called it motherfucker. And when he was on
Yeah,
Rogan, he
that's
said
right.
motherfucker.
That's
And I'm
right.
like, they told us. So I have a double mutation.
Yeah.
I have it. My dad has a more severe one than me.
Yeah.
Mine is not as bad as my dad.
Yeah.
I
Mhm.
don't know what my mom's is. My wife has the mutation, but hers is like the least
Right.
severe.
Right.
So we know with our children,
Sure.
the exposure to things that are toxic, because we can't methylate, we can't go through and just
Correct.
release these toxins,
Mhm.
the way you would normally do it, right? And the best way I can describe it to somebody is like, if you know someone who's neurodivergent, which is not spectrum related to me, it's very 2 different things. Neurodivergent is a very different thing. It's like the way you should be, quote, thinking if you're not neurodivergent is how your body's supposed to work. And that's the same exact process with the MTHFR,
Yeah.
is that if you have certain foods, it actually makes whatever's going on in your body like 10 times worse, and you start feeling really sick.
Correct.
And the thing that I understood about that is it creates a lot more inflammation in your body.
Yes.
So if you have a diet rich in high omega-6s, you're just asking for all sorts of shit going on.
Correct.
And if you have the MTHFR, you could also, and you probably know more about this than I do, is you also probably have underlying autoimmune issues, because this is technically an autoimmune issue,
Yeah.
I understand.
Mhm.
So you're like trying to eat healthy and you're like, I'm going to eat all this broccoli. You're like, well, actually,
Yeah.
that's high in oxalate.
Yeah.
So like, maybe you want to stay away from those greens.
Yes.
And like, I have friends who get kidney stones because of the calcium richness of greens. So they've been on like a carnivore diet so they don't have to get surgery
Yeah.
for their kidney,
Yeah.
which is insane.
Yeah.
And you hear all this stuff and you go, this is not what I was taught in school.
Right. Right. Yeah. So, so
So do
in
you,
our
do you,
journey,
do you have the MTHFR? Do you know if it's you or the
yes,
wife?
yeah. My wife has 2 copies. I have 2 copies. Yeah. Our son has 2 copies. Yeah.
Yeah. So
So it really, well, we had to really get guidance. So, in a chance trip to Florida, I met someone that was like, "Hey, you ever heard of biohacking?" I was like, "No," a good friend of mine. She's like, "I got a buddy of mine who's into like fitness and health. You should really think about biohacking. He can introduce you to some people that might have a solution for your son and your daughter's issue." So, I told my wife about it, and my wife was like, we were introduced to a guy named Dr. David Minkoff, who's one of the first people we interviewed for the documentary. He's also in the Root Cause documentary. He's very famous.
the root
Yeah.
cause, that's the dental
That's
one.
the dental one.
By the way, the Dental Association got that banned.
They
from
got it
Netflix,
shadow banned. Yeah.
which is insane because it follows so much of this Eastern philosophy that the teeth are connected to the
That's
organ.
right. Yeah.
And if you've ever had acupuncture,
Yeah.
it's a very easy thing to buy into. You're like, well, of course,
Yeah.
everything's connected.
Exactly. Meridians. But it actually did a great service there. All the publicity around it being shadow banned, it actually, people were going out of their way to watch it and so forth. But anyway, one of the stars,
Yeah.
Dr. David Minkoff, we started working with him to find out what was wrong with our son and our daughter. And
So
my
your
wife,
daughter was affected by this too?
she had a golf ball sized lymph node on her neck.
No, I mean, apart from that.
Apart from that, they
okay.
have nothing to do with
Okay.
MTHFR.
Got it.
Something happened. She got a ear infection from a swimmer's ear type thing. And then all of a
Nice.
sudden that appeared on her neck and it started getting worse over time. Both of our children are child actors and, it started becoming more prominent on camera, especially on the close-up shots. And every time we went to a doctor, they would say biopsy, this, that, it was like nuts. And my wife is unflappable in terms of her wanting to figure out and find out the answer. She's a very big health detective. And so when
I'm sorry, I feel like you're talking about my wife right now.
of course.
Yeah, I'm
No,
like,
yeah.
I'm like,
Mother hen.
I'm like, you would have been an amazing lawyer
Yeah.
or a private investigator.
Private
like,
investigator. Yeah.
journalist, like
Yeah.
investigative Boston Globe
Yeah,
kind of
that's
shit.
right, yeah.
Like, yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry, I'm just checking out your hair.
So, in that quest, she said, we should get the cameras rolling because it would be a great benefit to society, much like the documentaries we did about working out and losing weight. How about we do something like show them how we're getting healthy? And let's just, put it all out there for other people to learn as we learn.
Mm-hmm.
So we ended up interviewing 114 people, experts, RFK Jr. being one of them, and really just discovering documentaries are a living organism. So as we were working with one practitioner to the other, and they're saying, you should go and take a look at this functional birth. You should go and check out for Lyme disease here. And you should work with this one and that one. So 114 interviews, 5, episodes.
Yeah.
Later, we resolved the issues with my son. The golf ball lymph node was gone. My wife also lost all her brain fog. And we put it all out on the line. And I started working on brain optimization, started working with Dr. Daniel Amen and other functional medicine.
He's phenomenal.
Very, very, very
My
kind.
buddy Jason Waller from the Hills, friends with him. And,
Oh, wow.
And it's really interesting to hear what he's talking about with the brain.
Yeah. Spot the stand. Yeah.
It's insane. Like you could almost predict someone's personality
That's
based
right.
off of this. And it's cool and also scary.
Yeah.
Because it's like you want to, like, I would love to have this game, but I also don't want to know either, right? Like it feels a little Minority Report. Like if you're reading your mind, literally reading your mind.
But, and working with all these amazing people in an intimate way allowed us to really, there's a documentary called Supersize Me with a guy named Morgan Spurlow.
Who's dead now.
Who's dead now.
I remember watching that.
Yes, he got sick in that documentary. We get healthy in ours.
So when I was looking at I was like scanning what it was, I was like, oh my God, this is the inverse. This is like the upside down
Yes.
of Supersize Me, where you're watching this guy look like shit.
Yeah.
Like he's ending this looking awful.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
And he's talking about how lethargic he's feeling, right?
Yeah.
And I'm guessing more than half of the population is probably living like that and not knowing that if they just removed a few things from their diet, they would feel instantly better.
Absolutely.
And it's not expensive. It's actually cheaper.
No.
It's actually cheaper to be healthier.
Absolutely. And so from that, it turned out to be a big hit. The buy-in from the community was amazing. We did a premiere during what everyone considers to be the Super Bowl of longevity conferences. It's called the A4M, the American Academy of Anti-Aging.
Okay.
So December 15th, 2024, we had the premiere of Biohack Yourself. We invited 300 people, 800 people showed up. All the big names, Gary Brecka, Dave Asprey, Dr. Mark Gordon, who's been on Joe Rogan 7 times. He's a brain expert. And we had speakers on stage. My wife and my children and I got on stage and we said, thank you all for everything that you've done for us. Here's what we're not going to do. The world doesn't need another pill, potion, and lotion. We're not going to, if you have 6-minute abs, we're not going to create 5-minute abs. What we're going to do is we're going to be the voice and the news and the media for a community. We're going to do journalism, independent media, print and digital. We're going to continue to do documentary work. And we're going to speak all the love languages that the community consumes content. Because it took us to be documentarians on an experiential level to figure out and find you guys. The world deserves to know you. So everyone supported us, standing ovation. And sure enough, we created Biohack Yourself.
Which is the shirt you were wearing.
The shirt I'm wearing.
Yeah.
And then we ended up making more documentaries. One of them is called Shield, She Heal. Del Bigtree's in that. Gary Brecka's in that. Laura Trump is in that. Dr. Amy Shaw. And 75 other experts. And this one is primarily focused on women. Pre, post, and perimenopause. But it also doesn't alienate the men. It lets the men know how they can support their wives, how they can support their mothers, how they can support their daughters, how they can be better husbands, and understand what a woman's life cycle is.
Oh, yeah.
And then Del Bigtree attended the Oscars of Longevity events, which was star-studded. We had red carpets. Everybody was in tuxedos. They'd never dressed up like that before. Del FaceTimed the MAHA camp.
Oh, God.
And was like, look what the Lollis did. And Del goes, it would be an honor. Bobby wants to know if you guys can duplicate this on Inauguration Day, which was December 15th. Inauguration Day was January 20th.
Yeah.
He said Trump gave him the Waldorf Astoria. There were 2 big balls happening on Inauguration Day. The MAGA ball and the MAHA ball. Those were the 2 big parties in the end.
Yes.
Del was producing the MAHA. He asked us to co-produce the ball. We brought 53 people. Adam was there. It was one of the biggest, most monumental tasks. Let me tell you why. Because Bobby at that time was not confirmed as HHS director.
Yeah, he was just
he was nominated.
He was nominated, but he was what's that term when they do it like in the middle of something?
Yeah, it was under review.
Yeah.
Still had to go to get questioned by Congress and all that.
Yeah.
The confirmation.
Yeah.
Hearings. He wasn't out of the woods. In fact, he had so much press and media against him. That's when all the dirt started coming up and all the negative publicity. Nobody wanted to show up to the ball.
Really?
First of all, one of the most dangerous nights. Second of all, you don't want to get ambushed by media.
Yeah.
So the camp asked us to be the news, the exclusive official news, to, first of all, welcome everybody, make them feel safe, and let them know that it wasn't going to be ambush journalism, to allow people to speak their truth. All the invitees, high-profile people, the founder of Airbnb, many, many people that supported Bobby and the MAHA movement. So we invited our journalists, which were doctors from our documentaries, to work the red carpet and interview everybody that attended, and got over 1,000 sound bites of why everyone is still supporting Robert F. Kennedy Jr., even though he's no longer running for president.
It's crazy because he, in 2006, 2008, he was one of the top 3 names for the heading up the EPA.
Correct.
And this is something I think people have they memory hold it.
Yeah.
And I'm like, before he came out I really feel like it was right around when he started suing Monsanto and when the tide really went against him.
Yeah.
But his whole life was advocacy of cleaning the environment up.
Yeah.
And like, look, I grew up in Southern California. Our family friends were organic farmers.
Yeah.
So I feel like there's this native SoCal vibe, and not everyone,
Sure.
but I feel like I'm 44. So I feel like there's this, you were born in the early 80s.
Yeah.
You kind of, if you're already on the fringes of normal, you're already kind of like into all this, like I was into conspiracy theories and UFOs, right? So like easily I'm going to buy into like organic food. You read like what fluoride does. Like, what the fuck? Like, get that out of my system.
Yeah.
Let's get deodorant. I was like 15 trying to get this shit out of my life.
Uh-huh.
Before I knew I had MTHFR, before I knew any of these things.
Wow.
And I always found him to be an interesting person because I'm like, on paper, why would he be against somebody who's been just trying to clean up the environment?
Yeah.
And they started talking about his personal stuff.
Yeah,
I'm like, you want to talk about personal stuff? I can guarantee you almost every great person we praise in history has a side nobody wants to know about.
Yeah.
And like, that's not what we're like. Was it somebody said like Winston Churchill was an amazing leader? And I go, yeah. And he was also apparently a raging asshole. But we forget about it because he helped win the war.
Yeah.
So we'll let that slide.
Yeah. So that was incredible to be a part of that historic moment and help support the movement. We're on the side of health and betterment of humanity in general. And all along, I was being killed by a sinus infection. I got a bad implant from a fake biological dentist. So we were so busy filming and producing the documentary, releasing our Biohack Yourself documentary, launching our media company, our print publication, hiring, staffing up, and then working with Bobby and the team, that I started going deaf and blind. And it was because I had a sinus infection. Because of the documentaries, my wife has assembled probably one of the best health medical boards one could want. I mean, you could lose an arm, she'll make a phone call, somebody's going to grow it back for you. Like,
we know someone who's really great with iguanas.
So they were all like, you got to go see this guy. You got to see this infectious disease. So I went and saw this infectious disease doctor who said, you need to get a PICC line installed immediately in your arm to your heart, get intravenous IV because the pills you're taking are not working and you're going to die. You need to see a maxillofacial surgeon. Here's this famous guy in Miami. I go see the guy in Miami. He's like, Anthony, I know who you guys are. Problem is, I'm the guy people see when they're going to die. So I can't move anybody. I'm booked. So you need to see this guy in Costa Rica, who, by the way, is one of the best in the world as well.
Yeah.
And he's willing to take you.
That's good.
So he's a biological dentist, maxillofacial surgeon. His name is Dr. Andres Fernandez.
Yeah. I want to pause.
Yeah.
Please explain, because I don't think most people have ever heard the term biological dentist.
Yes.
So I know what a biological dentist is.
Mm-hmm.
My wife deals with airway dentistry.
That's right. Yeah.
Which that's like a whole podcast.
The whole thing.
But biological dentistry is, what is the percentage of dentists that are biological dentists?
Great question. So in our documentary, Biodentistry, we showcase the fact that there are 2.2 million registered dentists, just registered as dentists, in the countries that people would travel to, not third world countries.
Okay.
Out of the 2.2 million, there are 29,000 that use the word biological, holistic, homeopathic, and biodental on their website or describe themselves out. 28,000. Out of the 28,000, there are not that many that are real biological dentists. Biological dentists believe in several principles. Number one, no metal in the mouth whatsoever. No metal implants, no mercury, no amalgams, nothing. Remove anything metal out of your mouth.
I have a dental implant.
Yes.
And it's titanium.
That is a big no-no. And there's so much science, so much studies that link it to so much disruption in your body. Forget about the EMF and the Wi-Fi and the microwave that's happening anytime you're on a cell phone.
Yeah.
That's the least of your problem. The leaching, the metal, the microtoxins that are happening, and the link to Alzheimer's, dementia, it's all there.
And I got this when I was 24.
Yeah, now it's worse because over time, the corrosion.
I knew, and I'm going to be doing some aero dentistry things. And I keep thinking, I'm like, I wonder if I'm going to have to get this thing
You
completely
need to
removed.
replace it with a ceramic implant. So number one, they believe in.
There was ceramic, and there's also what's the other one? There was a ceramic one, and there was another type that they're talking about in root cause.
Yeah, it's ceramic.
It is ceramic?
Only ceramic.
Okay.
Yeah. So it's only things that are biocompatible and bioidentical with your body that allow the meridians. Your body's an electric field. So removing the metal right away. So that's number one. Number two, they believe in a whole body approach. So they don't believe in root canals, not as a permanent solution. So there's no reason why you should keep a dead tooth in your mouth. There's no reason why you should have roots rotting away.
Yeah.
They look at cavitations, which happens a lot when you're doing root canals or extracting teeth, and it wasn't properly cleaned. They believe in ozone. They also believe in having a conversation with you and understanding your lifestyle. They believe in talking about your diet and your nutrition.
Yeah.
They believe in really linking and asking you questions about your heart, your lungs, what's going on historically with your blood panels. They actually believe in red light therapy, hyperbaric chamber, stem cell. They integrate a lot of biohacking in recovery.
Yeah.
They're big believers in no packaged food, nutrition.
Well, that holistic, the whole system, that is not one thing. It's like, like you are in the center of several circles. Like your life is a Venn diagram.
Right.
Instead of being one or two or three,
Right.
It's like a million circles, and you're in the center of it all.
They believe in certification. So there's something called SMART certification, which is like smart removal of amalgams. And if they're going to remove metal like mercury out of your mouth, they believe in not killing you with toxicity while they're doing it and not killing themselves and the dental assistants.
Yeah.
So they go out of their way to get continuing education that's not mandated by the regulatory agencies.
And should.
It should be, but it's mandated by the true biological dentist. So in our documentary, we feature 32 dentists only.
Yeah.
28,000. You have a big board. So we have some of the biggest superstars in biological dentistry that are on the board, are co-producing, co-casting, and only allowing the best modalities. So it's like, what is the red light company that you use? What is the hyperbaric chamber that you use? What are the nutritional supplements that you use? What makes a real biological dentist? What makes a fake biological dentist?
Yeah.
What is the best implant you should use? So we're making this documentary not only to educate the consumer who can now demand, but also educate existing practitioners that it's okay if you have a little bit of identity foreclosure. Because when you gave the Hippocratic Oath, it was called do no harm. And if you know better, you can do better.
We would hope that once you provide information for somebody and they go, oh, wow, this is better, that they would start to adopt that.
Correct.
It's not always, I know that's not true because with hair, I've provided like, hey, stop using this.
Right.
Stop doing that to your hair.
Right.
And they go, okay. And then they come back and their hair is in worse condition. Like,
Right.
What happened? I'm like, are you doing these things? They go, no. Like, they go, I know. You told me. And I'm like, yeah, I'm telling you, not because I want to waste my air and my words.
Yeah.
I'm telling you because I'm trying to help you.
Information is important. So what we realized through our documentary filmmaking work is that my wife and I are lucky to have access and proximity to the right type of people.
Yeah.
And we have the accountability because we put ourselves through it. So I had a sinus infection that almost killed me. I got the sinus removed, a surgery, all on camera. My mother-in-law started getting early onset dementia.
Oh, wow.
She had 23 amalgams removed. We've replaced everything with ceramic. She looks like she got a facelift. She looks 20 years younger. No more brain fog, no more memory problems. My father-in-law, my wife, also same deal. Our children are going through airway and dentistry transformation.
Which my kids are also doing.
So you understand the importance of that.
The thing that's so shocking to me about the dentistry is that we know that these are cancer-causing substances. Why are they still allowed to be use.
Yeah.
That's what I don't understand.
Well, there's
And
a lot of money. There's a lot of regulatory, money. This is what it boils down to. And then there's also a lot of potential liability,
potential liability.
Yeah.
What, from all the things that were done previously?
Yeah. Yeah.
I think I'm wondering, and I'm just, spitballing here. I'm wondering if the liability would only be if they knew this at the time it was being delivered to the public.
I don't think they knew. I think now, because we're over time.
Because I feel like if they knew this at the time, which was sort of like the whole Bayer Monsanto thing with glyphosate,
Right.
they had it in their internal emails. They knew this was a very real thing.
Right now they know, though. Right now they know.
Right now they know. What I'm wondering is like back, if, go through the paperwork, and you have like, they're like, John Smith said, and everyone's like, well, let's fire him, because we can't have him here.
Well, it's much like the argument about food. There are so many environmental toxins in the environment between the food, endocrine disruptors. It's hard to pinpoint and say that was the root cause, but it most certainly is the tipping point. Like if you cut your arm, you wouldn't allow me to put mercury and then a Band-Aid on it.
God, no.
Right. But the tooth is a living part of the body.
Yeah. And
So-
I think there's a huge disconnect from the public of not understanding that, this is something that is a living thing. I think people think that it's just dead tissue.
Sure.
I am get these guys. I have to ask you, so where's the origin of the last name of Lolli? Is it like
That's
short?
Italian. I'm half Italian and half Ecuadorian. So Lolli is from Bologna, Italy.
Okay.
Yeah.
I just had to ask. I'm like, I thought anytime I hear somebody's name and it ends with an I, I'm imagining they're Italian. Like I have a lot. One of my buddies says I actually can't pronounce his last name.
Makes sense, yeah.
So I sent something. I show him. I go, this is how I spell your last name. He goes, you spell my last name as Ferrari. I'm like, it sounds close enough. He's like, all the best names sound like Ferrari. And I was like, I'm like, you were so Italian.
That's funny. Yeah.
Yeah.
My wife is from Armenia and my mother's from Guayaquil, Ecuador.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. It's been quite the journey. And we just wrapped. That's why I'm in Texas, because we were at the IAOMT, which is one of the federations you join to really learn about biological dentistry and get certified and really start building relationships with colleagues that are of the same mindset. So we were filming there, some big names, and just really understanding on a deeper level what the industry needs. And our job is to bring awareness and, again, speak the different love languages that the community. And so when we do our films, it's me, 48-year-old dad, my mom, who's 87, my mother-in-law, who's 65, my father-in-law, who's 68, my wife, who's 38, my children, 7 and 9, a boy and a girl. So there's an avatar in there somewhere, and each one of us had our own situations.
Yeah.
And that'll allow you. And then what we recognize in the documentary world.
Yeah.
And I love those documentaries. They're very important. The ones that really tell you, what's happening. But a lot of them are fear-mongering, and they don't really give you the solution. And when someone's drowning, you just don't describe the water. People want a life vest. And so what we do with our documentaries, we're interviewing or working with somebody that you too can call and book an appointment with.
That was actually always the thing about these documentaries, that I'm always like, man, like, how do I see that person? Right. If I need a gastroenterologist, I want to talk to that guy.
Yeah.
Like, or that girl for this thing.
Right.
And more often than not, either A, they don't do it with the public.
No.
Or if they do, you can't afford it.
Can't afford it. Right.
Or if you can afford it, you can't get in. So it's like, where's the solution? Right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
So we're very good. And then fortunately, you have Jeff Bezos owns the Washington Post. Several other families own their own newspaper. The Lolli family owns Biohack Yourself Media. So it's the first longevity-centric independent media news organization.
That's awesome.
That not only has print, digital journalism, but it's also event media, services. So like we were at Dr. Robert Whitfield's grand opening yesterday. He's an explant surgeon. He's starring in our Shield documentary with Del Bigtree.
Yeah.
He spent $9 million on a surgical center to help women get rid of the toxic breast implant and live a healthier life.
My mom got her implants removed.
Yeah.
And it's actually a conversation that my wife wants to do with hers as well.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Robert.
I know. And my friend, I was so happy to see my friend. She has a lot of skin in the game when it comes to hairdressing because her dad was Vidal Sassoon.
Wow.
So my friend Eden Sassoon, she was very open about getting her breast implants removed.
Yeah.
And she's like, she has some scarring. She talks about it and she's like, I don't care. She's like, I feel so much better. And then one of my other close friends, his wife also got her implants also removed. And when I was cutting her hair, I asked her, I said, how do you feel? She said, everything that was bothering me that they couldn't diagnose, because they're like, why do I have brain fog? Why do I have fatigue? Why do I have all of these things? He's like, 3 months after, and she went through and did a detox as well.
Yeah.
She said all of those symptoms, all these things that were plaguing her and driving her crazy over, the course of living, right? They've all gone away.
Yeah.
And she did say she went to a doctor in California. This is a while ago, but she said that she was going to go to a doctor who's the best doctor for this is in Austin. And I looked at who it was, and it was Whitfield.
Yeah.
So when you said Whitfield, I'm like, I know that name. Like, why do I know this name? But yeah, that's the guy because he has longer hair.
Yeah, so he looks like Brad Pitt, by the way.
Yeah,
He
has long hair, and so I remember I told my wife, I go, I need to call his office. Go like, please, you got hair, even as the trim. Why would I understand? Like, because I feel like every time somebody says they don't feel good and they're a lady who's sitting in my chair, and I know they have breast implants because they've said it, right? I'm like, have you ever considered? And what I'm always told by them is, well, the doctor said I'm fine. And I'm like, well, which doctor? They go, the implant doctor told me that these things are fine. I don't have anything to worry about. And I'm like, yeah, I feel like it's like what we dealt with our pediatrician. Oh, your children were fine. Our children were not. Our son was not fine. He had a really gnarly airway issue that was causing noise, and his tonsil was getting big. It was creating all sorts of stuff. And it was probably, impacting even more than what we realized.
Yeah.
Then he started getting into gut health. I mean, we were doing everything.
Yeah.
We even did muscle testing. That actually helped.
Sure.
And,
It all works.
muscle testing sounds very voodoo.
No, but
But when you're trying to fight it and then they go vitamins or whatever, and you're
right. Yeah.
I didn't choose that.
Yep.
And it's insane.
Yeah.
So I think what's interesting to me is that you are pursuing things in life that interest you.
Yes. Yeah.
And you're going, all right, at the end of the day, you can't just do things for fun. You have to do things to create a life. So in the life you're creating is you have to figure out a way to generate income so you can enjoy your life with your family.
Yeah.
You're a provider. You signed up for this role.
Yeah.
Being a father and a husband.
Exactly. Yeah.
And you're like, well, how can I do all this and enjoy myself? So you're not the person that you were.
Right.
300 pounds.
Yeah.
Cortisol levels through the roof.
Yeah.
Exhausted, not realizing that there was a better quality of life awaiting for you on the other side
Yes.
of a skin surgery.
Yeah.
All this stuff. And I think what's neat is I don't think anyone initially signs up going, I'm going to do these things when they get healthy. It's all one thing. Like for me, they said your cholesterol is high. And then I had a client tell me, your cholesterol's not high. I'm like, what? They told me the doctor said, right? That's always the thing. The white coat individual told me high cholesterol. This doctor was older. So if I'm 27 in this story, he's probably like 50 something, right? And I like older doctors. I think they're a little bit more like, well, let's pull it back. They're not as fear mongering, right? They've seen a lot of things. They've seen things they can't explain. They've seen things they can't explain.
Sure.
He said, your total cholesterol is that to the French. I go, what do you mean? Well, they go, it's the French paradox. They have high cholesterol. They live a high saturated diet. They have some of the longest life expectancy in all of Europe.
Wow.
And they go, so what are you worried about? You have the cholesterol of somebody who's going to outlive you as an American. Statistically speaking, the French is going to outlive the Frenchman was your cholesterol will outlive you if you lower your cholesterol.
Wow.
And that was my eye-opening thing. So that's when Malhotra came out with all this stuff, because cholesterol is the thing. I'm like, I don't want to be on statins.
Right.
I'm gonna be on
Yeah.
pharmaceuticals.
Yeah.
And that started me going like, all right, well then now I'm not going to eat the taco. Now I'm not going to drink soda. Now I'm not going to do this. And now I'm like probably like close to 200 days of not even having alcohol. Not because I had a problem with alcohol. I realized there's two things. I drank when I was bored or frustrated. And that usually occurs when you're at the airport and there's a delay.
Sure.
But if we're doing all of these things as a family to live a toxic-free life and eat as clean as we can, getting our regeneratively organic milled flour that we mill ourselves, we're doing all of these extra steps. Why am I having a Modelo or Documentaries or Guinness?
Yeah.
Why? Maybe once in a while I could have it, but like, why even keep it in the house? Like, don't have sugar in the house.
Yeah.
Like, we're a sugar-free household. Our kids, I gave them See's candy recently because somebody for Christmas, hey, Merry Christmas, here's a box of See's candy.
Yeah.
And I let my kids try it. They go, this, yeah. And my wife and I were laughing because we hadn't had it in like 2 years. And we're like, wow, we used to never think that this was sweet.
Sure.
And we were eating the dark chocolate version before we hadn't gotten to the milk chocolate yet. You know, we're just like, what the?
Wow.
But it's wild to think about all that stuff.
Yeah.
Real quick, I want to check in. Do you see the changes that we did?
I do.
Okay, so see how this is just here, a little bit fuller. Not much was cut. I didn't cut much up in the front. It was actually right in through here. So if you can go for that like Clooney vibe, right?
Yeah,
We're going to go for like that very classic.
I love it.
You know, you can be wearing a t-shirt. You can be wearing a bow tie, a scarf, whatever you're wear.
Yeah.
It's going to look nice.
Thank you.
When you came in, I told you this, but I'm telling you this again. Do not put product in when your hair is damp or wet. Make sure it's more dry. Run a brush and blow dry through your hair. It's going to take like no time at all. And then I'm just going to do a little bit of filtering here through the sides.
Yeah.
And then you want me to, we'll clean up the beard off camera because I have to get in front of you.
Gotcha.
And I don't think anybody wants to check out my ass. I haven't been doing squats lately. I need to do my
OnlyFans.
My OnlyFans. Yeah, I need to do a few more squats to get that going. But I think it's fascinating because this is, I feel that men's fitness really has just been doing the same shit over and over again. Those men's magazines are not doing anything unique. They're just telling you the same shit you can see over and over again.
Yeah.
But like what really got me into this whole like biohacker thing was actually not a biohacker themselves. It was actually Paul Saladino.
Oh, Paul. Yeah. He came to the MAHA Bowl too.
Yeah, it was funny. I'm like, oh my gosh, he actually owns clothes.
Yeah.
Because if you can follow Paul Saladino, all he has is shirtless and shorts.
Right.
Barefoot. I didn't know he could even wear shoes or let alone tie them. Maybe he did loafers. I don't know. Yeah. But he's going to be opening up a burger joint out here.
Oh, really?
Austin. Yeah.
He just came out with a protein bar.
Yeah.
So yeah,
but that was
example.
What got me going like, we're like, we can switch this out for that. We're like, and it's weight. Hey.
I always think about the word I like to use is called swapportunity. You want to look at things you could swap out. So swap out the plastic water bottle for a glass water bottle. Swap out
not stainless steel. You're not advocating for stainless.
Right.
You're saying glass.
Glass. And there's copper. There's many different things. And then you have also swap out the toilet paper, the toxic one, for this non-toxic one. Your stuff that you're already spending money on, swap out this product or, for that. Maybe you'll swap out the cologne for like an oil instead.
We have, like all of my colognes are, they're not toxic.
Right. Yeah. So first look for what you can swap out.
Oh yeah.
And then work your way down. There's extreme, but the more you can limit your toxic load, the better off you'll be to be able to handle something that comes across your way, whether it's a stressful moment and things like that.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think that there's some people have asked me over the years, like, well, what should I do? Is this good for you? What do you do? And my wife and I are like, man, it took us like 10 years to get where we're at and to figure out what we can have, what we shouldn't have, what our DNA sequencing was, what we react to. Like, I found out I have a gene where I process caffeine faster. So I can have tons of caffeine and it does not affect my cardiovascular system the way it would for somebody else. My dad has the one where no matter how much Novocaine they give him at the dentist office, he'll still feel pain.
Wow.
I grew up thinking he was a wuss.
Yeah.
Turns out he's genetically a wuss. No, I'm kidding.
Wow.
No, my dad's like a really tough guy and like
That's
really like really awesome. But I don't feel like looking at him like, really? Like
Yeah,
that not
funny.
no thing you're worried about?
Yeah. And then they said redheads have a high tolerance for pain
And they bleed.
and they bleed.
They
Yeah.
bleed.
That's right.
My old roommate was a redhead and he was left-handed, so I could make fun of him for 2 reasons. Just because I could. My grandma's left-handed, so I don't really care about it. But I was calling him. I go, "You're like an X-Men. You're like you're like Professor Xavier." He's like, "What do you mean? I go, it's a genetic mutation of this particular thing."
Yeah.
And he's like, "Stop teasing me." And it was so funny because his mom was a nurse in the Navy, and she's like, she looked at him, she goes, "It actually is a genetic mutation." He said, "You're signing with him? He's supposed to back me up." He got so mad, but it was so funny. But yeah, no, there's like all these crazy things. But like I was telling people pretty much what you just said.
Yeah.
I would say, you know, if you, I take a page from personal trainers that I used to cut.
Yes.
And they said, if you try to get everything on January 1st, it will fail by January 10th.
That's right.
Pick one thing and you're going to do it for 1 month and you're going to add. So it's like, hey, I'm going to not eat ice cream.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to do 1 month and not eating ice cream. And I'm not going to start eating ice cream in February. I'm now going to pick a new thing to either add in
Right.
or subtract.
Correct.
And if it's something as simple, I was something like, you want to get healthy? They go, yeah. I go, what do I need to buy? I go, it's actually buying less. It's actually buying less. Avoid the chip aisle.
Yeah.
Avoid the cookie aisle. Avoid the soda aisle.
Right.
Like that's what you should be avoiding. You avoid things. You'll be surprised that like you'll actually feel more full with eating less food. And when I mean less food, you're like, I'm not that's not that much. But if you have enough fruit and enough fiber and enough protein, man.
And psychologically, you're collecting a win.
Oh yeah.
And, you know, you want to have a lot of W's in your life, a lot of wins, and it's a game of inches. And if you can master yourself, you can master anything. You know, self-mastery is one of the biggest biohacks, and self-control and really acknowledging and then getting over it. Like, you know, once you master that, move on to the next level, raise the bar.
And that's where you're in a competition of yourself.
That's right.
Because you need that thing. And I don't think people really understand how fun that can be when I think if you play video games, and if anybody's a gamer or anybody grew up playing video games, they knew how excited they were when they got to that next level they couldn't pass. And
that people don't realize, by the way, the game of life is that. If you still see the same repetitive patterns, it means you didn't pass that level.
Yeah.
So life is trying to teach you something. It's trying to tell you, you got to start over and learn the lesson, and you're just ignoring it. But once you absorb and you're like, okay, now I get what you're trying to teach me, you get past it. Now you're on the next level. Like there's a saying I heard recently. When you're born, you look like your parents. When you die, you look like your decisions.
Oh, that's a good one.
So, you know,
I like that.
We all have different decisions that we make throughout our life's journey, but we can be whoever we want to be today. We don't have to, you know, live on our whole entire life. We can reinvent ourselves, which was the beginning of this. I've been able to reinvent myself based on who I am today, you know, and learn from all of your mistakes.
Yeah.
Take the best parts of who you are and get better with time, like a fine wine. You mentioned that between, you know, alcohol or, you know, whiskey and milk. But even milk can be preserved the right way.
So you get kefir.
That's right.
Yeah, which is really good for you.
Yes, that's right.
Yeah, we're like, you know, I think it's also what I think is interesting again is that you're not limiting yourself. You're not telling yourself, or it doesn't sound like you said, oh, I can't do that because.
Right.
You're going, I can do that because somebody asked me this, and I hate talking about myself in these things, but it's the only way I know how to experience because I've only experienced me. Is somebody said, wow, like what gives you the confidence to do all of these things or try something?
Yeah.
And I go, because I just know it's possible.
Yeah.
There's no reason for me not to.
Sure. And nobody's perfect. I mean, remember, even when you're running a company or in relationships,
Yeah.
some people are in your life for a reason or a season, and sometimes treat them.
treason. That's a new one.
Yeah,
I've never heard the
yeah.
treason.
And so remember, the devil was once an angel. Even God couldn't keep him on the team.
Yeah. Yeah.
And, Noah's Ark, depending on, what your religious beliefs are, but that story is about cleansing the earth of all bad things.
Yeah.
And didn't work. That was a flop. So like, no one's perfect. So you have to really understand that the life that we have is ours to really make. And you mentioned manifestation.
Totally.
It's all about the quantum. We're doing a new documentary called The New Woo.
Okay.
And it's got Sadhguru, it's got Wim Hof in it, it's got Michael Beckwith, it's got all the spiritual leaders. And my wife and I, we're on this next level. So now we went from toe to head in terms of the transformation, the mouth, the brain, and the body. Now it's next level. We want to know what that next level is. And there's so many different ayahuasca, there's so many different things that are out there. People like Joe Rogan, many different people that go to the next level in terms of really understanding a deeper understanding of what the universe is all about. So the New Woo is really going to do a deep dive and an exploratory dive. I'm going to put myself through all of that. I'm going to do Cambo and all that kind of stuff.
Everybody does Cambo out here.
Yeah.
He actually, he's the one who administers and does the whole thing.
Hape.
Yeah.
I did a little bit of that, and I'm going to go deeper. And so, we're fortunate to meet people like John Asseroff from The Secret, who wants to be my guide and shaman. And so,
have you watched What the Bleep Do We Know?
No.
That,
I'd love to.
You should check that one. That one's a
Yeah.
good one. And then I was going to ask you with your new Woo documentary, are you going to include quantum physicists?
Yes. Any recommendations? We're casting right now. We actually brought in another gentleman named Lawrence who's helping us cast and co-produce because we've been so inundated with people wanting to be in our project.
Yeah.
Because the thing about our films is that they get watched and they get shared. And we built a real big community around transformations of all kinds.
Yeah.
Dental, now spiritual.
Yeah.
So when people know they're watching one of our projects, they know it's like they're getting ready to see a human being that they can relate to go through it.
Yeah.
It's like watching sports. We watch the sports to see what the human being is capable of doing.
My favorite has always been the documentaries.
Yeah.
I love documentaries. I tell everybody, I go, nobody loves the story of I've made it.
Right.
I love the story. How they made it.
Yeah.
Anytime there's an Oscar nominated movie and it's a biopic,
Yes.
they sleep. Why? Because it's this belief that I can be those things.
Sure.
Is it impossible or I'm possible?
Correct.
Is it extraordinary or are you extraordinary?
That's
And
right.
extraordinary can be two ways of looking at it, like you're odd or extra basic.
Or you just do the ordinary extra.
There you go.
That's what it is. And the secret to my success has always been keeping my word, which to some people that's extraordinary. Like that's very odd. A lot of people,
But I find people on the East Coast, if they say they're going to call it 5, they're going to call it 5.
yeah.
I think that's something very East Coast culture because I was out there and this person's like, yeah, we're going to this place. I'll call you at 5. I'm like, okay, awesome.
Yeah.
I grew up in Southern California, LA area, Orange County.
Yeah.
Everyone's kind of flaky-ish, like, cause the weather's good. So we're going to do something else. 5:01, boom. Hey, sorry, I called you a little late.
Yeah.
Why? I didn't think you were actually going to call me.
Yeah.
Hey, we're going to say, I guess we're going to go there now. We got
Yeah.
invited. It's something I noticed about the East Coast that I
Yeah.
really love that culture of their word does matter, which means that they're holding themselves accountable for their character.
Absolutely.
And I think in business that goes far. I think in life it goes even further.
Yeah.
And take one next step. It matters in a marriage.
Absolutely. Yes.
And
Marriage.
to your kids, because
Yes.
we both have kids the same age.
Yes.
How long you been married?
Oh, it's going to be 14 years.
Okay.
Yeah.
10 years next
Wow,
month for my
look at
wife and
that.
I. So it's one of those things like you have to be able to like count on them.
Yes.
And your word does matter, especially with kids.
And on the marriage side, even, if you want your wife to respect you, she's the one that sees whether you're keeping up promises to yourself and to others.
Yeah.
If you're not keeping your word, you're losing credibility with her. And that leaches into the relationship.
It can. And then here's the other thing is now the best teacher you can be is the example you live for your children.
That's right. And one of the things I learned recently, I saw an expert say, how we treat our parents is a love letter to our children, how we want them to treat us.
Yeah.
So doing this documentary, we have this thing that we wrote about in our latest magazine. It's called generational health.
Hang on.
People make it in business
Yeah.
and in life. They like to buy their mom a house, buy their dad a car, and they like to pass along generational wealth. We believe you should pass along generational health. So if you can help your parents with a dental
Yeah.
exchange of a transplant, or, anything, that an implant, or maybe introduce them to a functional medicine. Why can't you get your mom and dad on some peptides, get their blood markers? Why can't you do what we're calling the silver tsunami? It's men and women over the age of 45 that are starting to get gray hair, but actually want to invest into their health,
Mm-hmm.
are more
Yeah.
capitalized, has more wisdom, want to get rid of the brain fog, want to get in shape, and want to live the next 40 years at their best.
Yeah. It's somebody said that we think that when you hit 50, you're halfway through your life, and you're more like 70% of the way through. If you're already looking at the life expectancy, when you hit 50, you're 70% of the way through your life.
Yeah.
And if you start looking at like, oh, well, tomorrow's another day,
Yeah.
you start looking like, I'm lucky that I had this day to even be here.
Yeah.
And changing your gratitude and the paradigm shift of being thankful versus, oh, well, tomorrow I can take over. You may not. I mean, I remember I lost a friend to drinking and driving. I saw him one day, didn't see him the next. And I was 22. And that made me really realize early on, there's not always a tomorrow for everybody.
There isn't.
And if there's only so many things you can control. And so I don't stress out about the things I can't control. I can only control how I respond in those situations.
Yep.
And I just think I think the biohacking community is doing so much more than I think they're getting credit for.
Yeah.
I mean, SNL's, doing a spoof on David
I saw
Hasselhoff.
that. Yeah.
And I was like, he made it. He made it. Said I don't know him personally. I don't know if he saw that and got mad. If I saw that,
he commented on it. He said he found it, but he's very, very smart.
if I saw it, I'd be like, fuck yeah, I made it. Like, it's like I'm on the cover, like you're singling me out. I'm making a difference.
Yes.
Now I'm a threat in a good way.
In a good way.
Yeah. So yeah, I think he's cool. I love what he's always doing. He's always challenging norms. And I love the idea of questioning and challenging stuff, because I'm in the business of asking questions, getting to know people. I want to know everything I can.
Yes.
And I think most people, correct me if I'm wrong, they get interested in the things that are going to affect them and their loved ones the most first.
That's right.
So I don't have to care about everything in the world, but I should care about things that are going to affect me and my family.
Yeah.
And so, when you're talking about like, where do you start? I'm like, start about what's going to affect you. The people who are super passionate about a cause, maybe like diabetes or inequality in life, because they've been personally, or they know who's been personally affected by that. Like the people I know who are all about type 1 diabetes awareness, they all have children who are type 1 diabetes.
Yeah.
It makes perfect sense that they would be passionate because they had to navigate this unknown system for them, for their child.
Yes.
So I think what you're doing, it sounds like you're just taking on, you're like, here's this, here's our line item, this is the next evolution.
That's right.
And if you have a platform between print and documentaries and audio and doing everything on Instagram, you're trying to get everybody in all the ways that they can absorb information.
Yes.
And it's great.
Thank you.
No, I appreciate you. I mean, honestly, like, I appreciate you reaching out and like, say like, hey, well, I'm like, this is insane. No, I really appreciate it, man. Thank you. And thank you for copying the magazine. I'm going to definitely, it's right over here. I'm going to go check it out.
Yeah.
So where will people be able to find you? So I'm going to put all of the links in the show notes.
Yeah.
We'll absolutely do that.
Yeah.
But,
well, I mean, Anthony Lolli, Lolli, Biohack Yourself Media.
Okay.
Biohackyourself.com.
Okay.
We're not that hard to find. We're out there. That's the main thing. We're in the algorithm. Lolli Brands Entertainment is the name of our production company, but we're big on social media. We're big on Instagram, and we have a whole team of people that are very responsive, that get back to people. We have so many people submitting stories, so many people asking for recommendations, referrals. So we're out there. And then we have the magazine, which is it's called Tech Free Wellness. And one thing about print is that print is forever. It's not going to be manipulated depending on who's in charge, who's in government. It's not going to get shadow banned. It's there.
Yeah.
So we have the print publication for those people that want to, you don't need blue light blocking glasses for that.
Absolutely. And I think that's a great thing to leave off. Like, you don't need blue. I mean, reading's been around forever.
That's it.
Just pick up the paper. Get some sunlight. Get some
it.
vitamin D. Read.
That's it. No
Hold
scrolling,
something.
Hold something. The first biohack.
Oh, sun. Yeah. Like I was telling everybody, there needs to be more feet in grass and hands in dirt. And sun in the eyes. Like those are the three things. You can do that, you'll be great. And it's proven that you do those sort of things and add a little bit of gratitude and it will actually increase your testosterone. My buddy did a whole thing.
Vitamin G, gratitude.
There you go. Awesome. Thank you.
Thank you.
Adios.
It's great.